Hello, and welcome to Book Horse Pod, episode 93. Today we are wrapping up Most Wanted by Ray Carson, and I'm going to throw all of my audio equipment and my computer out the window, and that's why I'm so pleasant.
Oh, God.
The more I read about audio equipment, the less I understand, so thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
It's like parenting.
Exactly.
It's identical, really.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Miranda, what are you drinking?
I was going to let you take this one because you like to talk about beer.
But now I don't like to talk about anything, so can you talk about the cats in the can?
Okie dokie. So today, Kristen and I are drinking Fort George's 3-Way IPA. I believe you had this actually in the pod already this season.
Yes.
Probably. It's the one with the cats on it.
Basically, Fort George does a collaboration with a couple other breweries. That's why it's called a 3-Way IPA. Because
Scandal.
there's multiple. But it's usually very good.
A double entendre.
Oh my God. It's a beer that usually comes out in the summer, and this year on the can they have 3 cats, one for each brewery. So there's a guy in like a little flannel shirt playing the triangle, one in a baseball tee playing a tambourine, and a cat wearing sunglasses and a Fort George sweatshirt playing a saxophone.
It's fucking adorable.
If you want to know anything about the actual beer, ask Kristen, because I don't know and I am just here to drink it.
I was thinking of y'all the other day because I went to the bathroom in Church Key, and when I shut the stall door, on the back someone had stuck a Fort George sticker on it, and I giggled to myself as I peed.
It was me. I was in DC without telling anyone.
Yes, definitely.
It wasn't me.
It's fucking rude.
It's very far away. Anyway, sorry to be in a cross mood. I just thought this was going to work, and then one of our I just got a fucking new splitter so I could stop using my shitty old splitter. And the new one stopped working, and the shitty old one is working. So great.
Of course.
Yeah, I've been there.
Everything
That's not
is
how the
fine.
Force works.
It's beautiful.
Okay, great. What are you guys drinking? You're moving so soon.
Oh my God,
Yes,
we
we
are.
are.
Our apartment
It was
is a
Chris's
disaster.
birthday.
Birth.
It was.
That was
It was
last
Chris's
episode,
birthday.
though.
That was last episode. But we can talk about it again. It was my birthday.
Nobody cares,
Congrats.
Chris.
Now you're not allowed to talk about it again.
Just gonna sit here and squeeze my potato.
Please squeeze your potato.
I'm drinking tea because we went to brunch earlier, which was absolutely fantastic, except we made the critical mistake of then having to do things afterward. So we've been
terrible choice.
Yeah. So we've
That's
been regretting that for the past few hours.
Yeah, no, I was drunk and angry and on my period the entire day.
That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, and
Lots
Chris
of
had a great time.
prejudice.
Chris had a fantastic time. Thanks for asking.
Oh.
No one asked how you were doing, Chris.
Chris, it's not your birthday anymore. We are not obligated to be nice to you, so you can just sit down and shut up and squeeze your potato.
You still can't make human life in your uterus, so no one cares.
Correct.
It's
This
true.
is factually correct.
Chris is a man without a uterus, so.
This is all of the
so
above
lucky.
are true.
It's the worst kind of man to be, honestly.
I know,
But
actually.
is it? I mean, yeah, but also not having a uterus sounds great.
You know, pros and cons.
Yeah, there's.
Kate, what are you drinking?
I was going to say none of the rest of us on this pod are any flavor of men. I am having, well, okay, so we tried to have a drink all the alcohol party yesterday, except it turns out everybody's out of town or they don't love us, so we did not get as much
Fucking
drunk as
rude.
possible.
I would have been
know.
there and I would have blacked out.
I know, it would have been great. But one
I
of
would
the
have
things
been there and I would have blacked out. The sign of a good friend.
at a drink all the alcohol party?
Yes.
Like, absolutely.
No, I mean, honestly, the last 2 weeks have been like, people are like, oh, are you sad to leave DC? And the last 2 weeks have just been like big piles of like oh, let me invite all my friends to do something. Oh, that's right. I have like 3 friends that are available right now.
Oh,
so
God,
no,
it's so fucking
it's
rude.
going to get a
Fuck
hard no.
Summer. TBH.
I have 3 friends. It's you guys.
I was about to say, are they all on this podcast?
Yeah.
They're all on this podcast.
Okay, so things we still have in the fridge that I'm currently drinking because we need to get rid of it. The motherfucking Trader Joe's brand White Claw in pomegranate flavor, and I'm also drinking tea. It is. We're also trying to kill all of the
Tea
fucking
flavored?
Yes, we're trying to kill the all the loose stash tea that we have, so we can like pack up the fucking tea tin. So this is the, funnily enough, the Portland blend. It's got the fruits.
We're a Portland company.
Yep, we got the fruits and the chocolates and the. Why are you poking me? What?
I just wanted to.
What the fuck is wrong with you? He just reached
I'm
in
feeling
and poked my
extremely
foot.
loopy right now. Like, I'm not drunk. I'm like extremely post-drunk, but I'm just feeling extremely loopy right now.
We've been drinking all day, and I was in a great mood, and then none of the audio was working, and now I'm just cranky.
Oh,
Drink
I sobered
more.
up. I sobered up while she was fighting the audio, and now my beer is not cold anymore because it took a long time.
Sorry.
So,
We're all doing great. A plus.
It's fine.
Job,
Everything's
everyone.
fine. These are 7.2%, by the way, in case you missed that.
we'll be drunk by the end. That's for damn sure.
Fabulous.
That's what friends are for. Do you guys like how I
God.
just sing on every podcast now?
Every
love
single
it.
one.
I love that for you.
I'm very tone deaf, so I hope everyone really enjoys it.
You're very tone deaf.
I am.
We don't even let Kate on our music episodes.
That's true. But to be fair, Kate's like, I don't want to be on y'all's dumb music episodes. I'm gonna get drunk.
Hey,
and be in the apartment.
Hey. Did not call it dumb.
There are no stupid episodes.
You did
Kristen.
say, I
Only
don't want to
stupid
be on
people."
y'all's music episodes. I'm going to go over here and get drunk on the couch. TM.
Only slightly different from regular podcast
I was
recording.
about to say you can do that on the podcast. That's this whole situation.
It's true.
Speaking of the podcast, I just kicked the shredder.
What does
How
that have
do we
to do with the
shred
podcast?
Nothing. But how do we talk about Star Wars? Should we do that?
Oh.
Speaking of queer.
Speaking
Yes.
of queer, happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. All right. First topic's mine. La la la. So I want.
Oh, do
I
we have any
mentioned
official pod business? I guess is the first question.
not for on the air.
Great.
Only private pod business.
Only
Ooh,
you
that's
guys
my favorite
wish you knew
kind.
about private pod
Yikes.
business.
Yikes.
A real look behind the scenes.
Because we
the goings.
hide so
the goings
much in
on.
this podcast.
I'm fucking scared, guys. Yeah, no, we'll talk to you off pod about. I had a question, but it's fine.
Oh no! Now me and Miranda are gonna be stressed the whole time about it. So
don't be
someone should clap
stressed.
and then just address it.
Oh,
Yeah.
for real?
No, Kristen and Miranda, can you guys just like come visit before you leave for the day? That'd be great.
Yeah. Sure thing.
Wait before we leave for what?
Oh my god, never mind.
What?
It's an at work joke,
Oh.
I think.
Yeah, no,
Like
no,
when your
Miranda
boss
got
is
it.
like, your
Yeah.
boss is like, oh, can you just like, do you have a minute?
Swing
And you're
by.
like,
And you're like, yeah, I do. As soon as my heart restarts.
as soon as I pass out because I'm about to be fired, even though.
Oh,
Yeah.
me,
No, Miranda got it.
me
Miranda
and Kate
got it,
without
but
a
I
care in the
appreciate-
world. What?
I'm unemployed right now. Thank you. Very
I was
much.
just gonna say I appreciate
Unemployed.
having had to
Congrats.
explain the joke. That always makes it better.
That's the best kind of joke.
That's
it's
what
the
we
kind
do on
you have to
Bumper's
explain.
Pod. Hi guys, we're back. It wasn't anything bad. Kate didn't fire us from being our boss. She's not our boss.
Which is honestly
Really not.
shocking. Like I would have
I
understood.
know.
Oh my
But-
god.
Well,
That'd be
we're
so
like
sad.
we're bad workers.
No one's fired. We're on a review. It's gonna be fine.
Oh my
Just keep doing your best.
god.
Maybe
on
like a little bit
probation.
better than your previous best, and everything will be okay.
Pod probation.
Oh my god.
Podbation. What?
What does that even, what would that even look like? That would be so fucking
Propodtion.
sad. Jesus.
Female characters and likability.
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
you had a point about this. This is
Sure.
the beginning of the Star Wars content. Welcome to it.
Yay. Yeah, so this is a thing that I wanted to talk about last time, or rather I mentioned last time that I want to talk about it on the wrap up. So I think, so this is a question that we get a lot of the time when we're looking at stories, especially I feel like more recently, since a lot of stories these days feature anti-heroes, is the main character likable, and does the main character have to be likable for you to enjoy the story or relate to the main character or whatever the hell else? And of course, most of the time, the main character is a dude because
Star Wars.
Yes. Also,
patriarchy.
Also just generally, honestly. I mean, look at the fucking Marvel movies. Yay, patriarchy. However, when you bring women into this, it gets kind of interesting because then you get a lot of criticisms about, what is a quote-unquote strong female character, and for a lot of people, she has to look a certain way. Like, she has to be, like, kicking ass and not having a romance, and just kind of like this Lara Croft flavored rip off the femme fatale.
Have huge tits. What?
Yes.
And
yes.
skin the rest of her body.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Or and they're always described as being like cold and bitchy and all this other stuff. Like, they're very aloof.
Retweet if you're cold and bitchy.
Retweet.
RT.
And it's just like, well, if she were warmer or more charming, then maybe I could have been able to relate to her better, says a billion fucking book reviews, probably. I think probably good, like, very Star Wars centric examples of these are the fact that we know that from the Rogue One trailer to the actual release of Rogue One, Jin's character changed kind of a lot. There are a lot of scenes and like sound bites used in the Rogue One trailer that were not actually in the final cut of the movie, and that's because, and we've been told this, they wanted to tone down some of Jin's character because they didn't think she was going to be likable if she was like past a certain level of like sassy or caustic or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the same thing with Holdo in The Last Jedi. They again kind of tried to like soften her up a little bit so she would be more, I don't know, palatable to the audience. And which is all just annoying bullshit. And I want to talk about this in terms of Kira, especially because, I don't know, I feel like I feel like there are people in the fandom who are kind of lukewarm on her, and I'm wondering how much of that is attributable to the fact that she's not like, endearing in any kind of way like Leia or Rey or Padme are. She's really tough. She's looking out for herself. She is always thinking about herself first. And these are all qualities that we've seen a million billion times in male characters, but all of a sudden you slap it on a woman and people are like, oh, she's so selfish. I don't like this character. So I just kind of wanted to dive into that because I think it's really important to talk about in terms of this book and in terms of Solo.
Do other people think Suffering No Fools is not endearing, or?
I think it's great, but apparently other people do not.
I find it incredibly endearing.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of wonder how much of it is just because she isn't Leia.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's like, oh, Leia's cool and everybody's pretty down with her. Generally speaking, like, obviously we still have the
generally speaking,
oh my god generally organically speaking,
I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness gracious.
But I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, it's Leia or bust basically, and like there's still the bullshit double standard. I actually really liked Kira in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we think it's Leia or bust? If I can interrupt Miranda for a second, she's looking at me with sad eyes. But like, why do we think it's Leia or bust? Why can't there be the fuck anyone else?
Because women aren't allowed to leave the house ever,
or have multiple different types of women, like unfucking heard of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. Honestly, I think it's the same crowd of Star Wars, quote unquote fan who are the ones who say the modern ones aren't, my Star Wars, whatever. And like, Leia was kick-ass, sure, but then they got a bikini scene out of it, so they don't care.
Representation in my Star Wars?
unbelievable.
I mean,
I also think that
we are still talking about Emilia Clarke. Let's not get too carried away.
nice. I also think that to a certain extent, the Leia depicted in the original trilogy is a little different from the Leia we get out of the sequel trilogy. Like it, until we see how much like pain she's gone through in her life, and you know how I guess like how her family life kind of falls apart. She's almost portrayed as a woman who has it all. If you just forget about the fact that her fucking entire planet blew up, which A New Hope does forget about that and doesn't let her think about it. You know, she's beautiful. She's put together. She can run with the boys. She knows how to shoot a blaster. She's a diplomat. She's all these other things. And I think that people are, I guess, used to that kind of image, and kind of like on the flip side, the image of like classic Disney princesses. And if you bring anything else up, it causes all that to fall apart, and then people get angry about it.
Are you saying that Leia's a Mary Sue?
Yo, can we talk about the fact that Han's a Mary Sue? Like,
Yes.
we literally have, like, we have a Han YA book in which he already is a fantastic pilot, already is great at sabacc, like, already has all these skills, and, like, we had the Solo movie in which, again, already phenomenal pilot and could beat Lando, professional gambler at sabacc. Like, Han doesn't develop skills.
I mean, I think
has skills.
yeah. I mean, Leia's a Mary Sue in the same way that Rey's a Mary Sue. Like, they're both just really good at a lot of things, but I do think they are allowed to fail. But still, I think, I don't know, there's a certain ideal that I think people want all of their women characters to reach for.
Yeah,
Or
and
something
I think,
like, yeah. Or like, I mean, Leia's motivated by different things than Kira is, obviously, and I think, I don't know, like, Leia's this paragon of, like, purity and, like, selflessness and whatever the fuck, and then people are just like, why isn't everybody like this?
Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, when we look at Kira in this book and in Solo a bit, when she has her moments where she's more brash and, like, assertive and doing things that maybe she shouldn't be doing, people get, like, up in arms about it. And, like, her showing any kind of opinion or strong decision making just gets a little,
Yeah,
I don't know what the
definitely.
word is, but
I agree. And I also think there's something to be said for the fact that she doesn't wind up being like she's not 100% like a good character. She's a very morally gray character, but that's because people aren't used to thinking about heroes as being people who are self-interested also. So I don't know. There's like a lot going on, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because I feel like Kira is one of the first explicitly morally gray characters we have in Star Wars. Because it's a story for 10-year-olds, to quote George Lucas. And everybody's either good or they're not. And like that's true in the original trilogy, and it's super true in the prequels with varying success. But it's kind of true in the sequels as well, depending on how one views Kylo Ren and what happens to him in Episode 9, without getting into that. But like,
Chris, stop
It's-
telling people about Episode 9.
yes, I've actually already seen it.
Nobody wants to hear your spoilers. See, I don't even think Kira's morally gray. I think she's like evil.
Ooh.
I do. Like, is that a hot take?
I mean, she does rise pretty high in a major syndicate by the end of Solo.
Like, I think her plan was always whatever the fuck was going to happen to make me be able to get whatever highest rank I can get and fuck everyone else over. I'm going to do it. I don't think she was like, oh, I guess I have the chance to kill this dude, so I'm going to have to do it because he's a dick. I think she was just always going to be like, how do I fuck everyone over and win? Quote, quote.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I guess
I don't
thinking about
know.
it. No,
I mean,
I
think
fair.
she comes off as morally gray. I just don't see her that way. And this podcast is about me. Welcome to Kristen Cast.
I could definitely buy into that argument a little bit. Like we've seen it in the book. Like she's
Right? Like,
like, I want power and influence.
Well, okay. I think coming at this another way. How important is it to you that that you like the characters in a book, independent of
whether
I
or not
guess-
they're evil.
yeah.
So, like, you mean purely on a personality level?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, it all depends. It all depends on the context, right? Like, it works here, I think, because you have Han, who is like such a fucking puppy dog, and then you have Kira, who's like the smart one, and Sulo, who is pure and everything.
Well, I think I'm asking, like, supposing that the writing is all good and the story's there and everything like that, and the character you have in your mind is, three-dimensional, complex, and fully conceived. Do you need to like them to enjoy the book?
Having just read Alphabet Squadron, I'm gonna say no. And we should continue this discussion now, but also bring this up when we read Alphabet Squadron, because two of the characters in Alphabet Squadron, out of like the 5 members of Alphabet Squadron, are like objectively unlikable.
Nice.
I will say that I think like quote unquote likability is not something that I particularly care about. But I feel like I do like main characters, and I mean sometimes I hate them, but like I enjoy liking that, if that makes sense. Like
Yes.
I enjoy like having characters that aren't necessarily likable and that are, more complex or whatever bullshit. Because I think that's like a really interesting way to approach storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Is to not have like some, classic hero as the main character.
Right.
See, I find Kira more likable, and I more like hate that I like her because I think she's an evil character. But I find her likable because I'm like, I fucking get that. She wants everyone to like be chill with her and like listen to her. Sometimes
Yeah,
it'd be like that.
I'm actually with you, Kristen. I find her likable just because, and we've talked about this with specifically Snap Wexley, but like what I like in characters is competence, and that's why I hate Snap Wexley so much. But like and as somebody who like when I was a kid, like Luke Skywalker kind of annoyed me in A New Hope and Empire, let's be real. Like
It's like how I hate Winnie the Pooh, because I think he's an idiot.
it's exactly like that. It's exactly
Oh my
like that.
fucking god!
What?
I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Are you
really?
guys not aware of this hot take from Kate? Kate despises Winnie the Pooh.
Surprise.
But anyway, but yes, like
Just
so to
silence,
me, Kira
like,
is
what the
likable. But again, that's just on me personally because like I look for competence in characters, and that's what I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll throw my hat into that ring. I also really liked Kira. I think I said that near the top of the podcast, but like I found her to be very interesting, and I just think there was a lot about her ambition in this that I was like, yeah, she like knows what she wants and she's gonna go get it. It's like she might be evil, who's to say? Jury's still out, but she's like badass and doesn't give a fuck what you think.
And then I guess my other question, like along these lines, would be, how many female characters do we get in media generally who we dislike, but also we enjoy their characters on this kind of a level? And I'm having a hard time myself thinking.
I mean, Kylo Ren.
I'm asking about female characters.
Oh, I'm sorry. Crucial thing I missed.
Kylo Ren, noted female character.
Give Brian Young another 30 tweets. He'll find a way to make it happen.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Like, it literally in any media franchise or anything else, and I'm having a hard time right now coming up with anything. So that sucks.
I am not a person, so I'm not helpful.
I'm not a person.
Star Trek, I think I would say there are some,
Okay, nice.
but
Cool.
Okay.
We're all just like, what is that?
yeah, right.
I've never heard of Star Trek. Is that a thing?
It's
Oh my God.
It's similar yet different.
Is
Kristen,
that the one
similar
with
yet different.
the big like hairy guy
Mm-hmm.
who would like?
Yeah, it's the same
Yes,
thing.
that's Star Trek. Absolutely. Absolutely. We also all went to Georgetown, I hear. I hit too close to home there, didn't I?
You're a
Some
bum.
of us didn't want to be Jesuits without a metro stop, okay?
Some of us didn't want to take the SAT twos.
Oh my God, what a fucking mood. I'm so upset that you said that. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Miranda just brought us out of the fucking bit by talking about SAT2s, and I just respect it so aggressively.
Oh God, are those
Oh,
still a
boy.
thing? Do kids still have to do that?
Felicity Hoffman's kids sure don't.
Never
Oh my
They're
God,
not
shut
called
up.
the SAT2s anymore. I can
No, they
tell
were
you
they were
that.
they were called the SAT subject tests by the
Whatever.
time we took them.
Oh,
Maybe not you, Kristen. I think maybe me and Kate were the first time they were called subject tests.
I think that's
I
right.
don't fucking know.
Some of us didn't want to take SAT subject tests.
Some of us had
Some
to
of
retake SAT subject tests because we got like massive nosebleeds in the middle of it the first time.
God, I forgot about that.
Oh, God. Chris, why do you have so many problems?
Hey, that's not the worst thing that's ever happened at the SATs.
Yo.
Also,
That's a story for off the pod.
yo, when I took the SAT2s the first time, my mom got mad at me because she forgot that I was taking multiple ones, so it wasn't just the morning session. So she like came to pick me up after the morning session, and then like I wasn't there, and she thought I just like went over to someone's house without telling her, and I got like a really grumpy voicemail from her when I got out of the fucking test, having like bled all over the goddamn Scantron.
Jesus,
like-
Noel.
Chris, you better not be at so-and-so's house. I can't believe you did that. I hope you never start a Star Wars podcast. How disappointing.
Yeah, it was weirdly specific at the time, but prescient really.
Oh my fucking God.
I hope you never... I hope you never have so many plastic toys that they take up a whole table, she said, looking at all of her Funkos.
Yo, I fucking bubble wrapped all our Funkos on Friday. That took a longer time than
Why did
I'm
you
pleased to
bubble
admit.
wrap them?
So they don't die in the box.
I took them off of their bases and threw them into a container. They hurt my
Yeet.
children, but those springs are really resilient.
Yeet.
Yeet.
Okay, so as we've been talking about literally nothing, I've still been racking for. I feel like I don't watch enough movies to even answer my own fucking question. Like,
I mean, it's so the problem
yeah,
for me at least
yeah.
is it's hard because even when you do get those characters in movies, they're hot, so it's hashtag redeemable.
Oh God.
Oh, that's a fucking correct take, Chris, and I hate saying that to you.
Oh, that's horrible.
Like that's part of the problem because that's what our media does. Where like if you're hot, anything is forgivable.
That was
oh,
a hashtag hot take.
Bwah, bwah, bwah.
We're not even talking about anything. Are we still on the first thing?
yeah. That's why I told y'all to shut it.
I'm
I
very broken.
But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I know, but I'm having trouble with it. I mean, and again, that's kind of why Star Trek is really the thing that's coming to mind because,
Yeah.
and this is not a blanket statement because Star Trek has a lot of complicated and difficult history with how it treats women and particularly how Gene Roddenberry treated women.
Yikes.
But women in Star Trek, particularly in the later incarnations of it, like post Next Generation, are kind of seen in these more are seen in these positions of power, are seen in these, you know, more I'm trying to think how I want to frame this, but less emotional attitudes, kind of like the stoic captain, you know, kind of like Patrick Stewart and all that. And like And currently in Star Trek Discovery, like the main character is Sonequa Martin Green, who is amazing, but also like her character is, this is not a spoiler, it's literally her backstory, but she was raised by Vulcans, and so she doesn't emote very much.
She's also kind of a fuck up, right?
Oh, she's a whole deal.
Right.
You should all watch Star Trek Discovery.
But she's
It's
fantastic
really good.
as a character.
No, she is absolutely fantastic as a character, and it is this kind of like, do I like her? Do I hate her? Like, because like she keeps feeling sorry for herself, but also what she did was really bad. Like, so like she probably should be feeling sorry for herself, and it's just like, and then she keeps pushing people away because of the Vulcan thing, and it's just like, it's interesting. So like, and she is a somewhat unique character to kind of bring it back to what you were saying. Like, I don't know that there's a ton.
Right. Like, I was just thinking to myself, like, if Game of Thrones had been written anywhere near well, like, Daenerys could have been that character for, like, you know, for a lot of people.
Sansa.
Retweet
Yeah.
if you're a whole deal.
I mean, Sansa's my favorite Game of Thrones character because I am on brand, but yeah.
I'm also
Yeah,
a
I mean-
whole deal because I'm a human person.
Kristen?
I think I no, legitimately, I think Sansa is the platonic ideal of the unlikable character that everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's a
there's
good
not
one.
really a single moment where, and this is partially the writing as well, but there's not really a single moment where like Sansa is meant to be super likable.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she's young, she's supposed to be annoying,
Mm-hmm.
and when she's older, she's supposed to be also annoying, but like again, like kind of quote unquote bitchy.
Mm-hmm.
And more competent though.
Yes.
And I guess,
Definitely.
Chris, you were saying earlier that like you're really drawn to competent characters, and I feel like that's what happened there.
Oh,
So I
no
think,
question at all.
depending on how you feel about what makes a female character likable, you know, that could be
Yeah,
a thing.
and then you look at Sansa and like the massive following, like not following, but like the massive fan base that Sansa and Sophie Turner have from this role,
Praise the Lord.
because, and you know, and again, this is one of the few character arcs that was done moderately well, although again there are issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she is kind of the example of the unlikable character who everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think I kind of mentioned this as kind of an open-ended topic, especially because it's hard to talk about it with any, I don't know, authority or anything like that, because there are so fucking few of them in like really prominent media, like so few characters like this. So I don't know, more Kira, please. But except I don't think we're gonna get any because I think from Star Wars Celebration, I think I found a lot more Kira fans than I expected to, but at the same time, I think the perception of the general public and probably higher ups at Lucasfilm is that people didn't really glom onto her as much as they did to Leia or Rey or Padme. So, is she going to show up anywhere else?
More female writers is what I heard you say.
That is what I said.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
might be skipping ahead a couple of topics with this comment, but I feel like part of that is due to the fact that she didn't really have a whole lot of screen time. And like, I would probably say that I was pretty neutral about Kira, like after just seeing Solo a year
for sure.
ago. And now that I read this book, I was like, oh shit! Like,
Yeah.
Now I really want to know more about her. I want to get more of her background, and you know, some of those filler years between Han leaving her behind and her being pretty high up in Crimson Dawn.
I would love that. That'd be so fun.
Yeah,
I don't think the film gave us an opportunity to. Not that I think that like people would like her more if she did have more screen time, because of the whole likability thing, and she's not exactly like, as we've been discussing, the most morally righteous character. But I think it's worth at least getting more screen time for her.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I would love it. It's
This is the
Oh,
way
sorry,
I think
go ahead.
about Jin. And like, Jin's super dead. She is.
Sure
like, we don't
is.
have an option.
Got
And
super
I'm
blown
like,
up.
Great. Which British actresses can we cast next to be brown haired? But also like Jin is a fucking interesting character, and was way more interesting when she was like fleshed out in the books. See all of our episodes about Rebel Rising and other shit. But like, I think she has the same thing going for her, except for like, she's dead. So like, we're not like, let's get a Rogue One 2.
And that's a great point, actually. I mentioned Jin and Haldo as characters that they toned down for the movies, from the original drafts of the scripts or whatever. They're both dead, so that also is great.
How dare you?
Do whatever you want. I'm
Amylin
super dead.
Haldo lives on in my life.
I know.
In my
I know.
heart.
I know. But
I mean, so does
Wow.
Jin. Fuck.
I just realized that. Now I'm angry.
Yeah.
Cool
Yeah.
story.
That's right. Great.
Great.
and
Great.
it's.
Cool story.
Right, I'm going to crack this White Claw now because I'm angry.
I mean,
Black
you're gonna
plaque.
get angry because I'm about to talk about John Kasdan, but like
Why
Ugh.
are you doing
The-
that?
one of the again just super frustrating things about Kira's character is that she kind of feels like she was an afterthought in the movie, and then they were completely unprepared for people to like her, and then but at the same time Solo was like, fairly or not, regarded as being a less than fully successful movie. And so I think they were not prepared with more Kira content in the pipeline, and the question is, did they feel motivated to make it?
Right. And
Because so much of last thing, but because so much of, and we don't talk too much about behind the camera stuff on this podcast, but so much of Solo's production was so fraught, and so many of the details were still being finalized all the way up to it. The Maul cameo was like one of the last things they put into the film, and that was like Ron Howard was like already on the project. Like that was when the Kasdans were kind of reasserting control over the script, and that was not a thing that was planned. And so like that to me is like the like epitome of they didn't have a 10-year plan for Kira.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, if we're gonna bring up motherfucking John Kasdan, I mean, the way he described Kira when they asked him like, what was your conception of this character? What he said was, Kira is a stand-in for all the girls in high school who I tried to ask out, and they turned me down.
Great.
I hate him so much.
Yeah.
Nothing to see there.
Nah.
I know
Move
we
along.
try to be professional about people behind the books and camera and everything in Star Wars. I hate him.
I mean,
He's a really toxic dude.
I'll
and
be
I hope
professional.
I hope he does not get another Star Wars.
I'll be professional about that man when he decides to be a professional human being.
Yeah.
Anyway, can people give me more Kira? I was literally standing in line at the store at Star Wars Celebration. This guy was like, "There are no Kira t-shirts," and I'm sad. Like some random dude who had flown to Chicago from another country to like do Star Wars Celebration. I was just like,
Kira.
right on, bro. But anyway,
It's really interesting. Like, and this is a topic for another episode, and then we can move on. But like, because we're like 45 minutes in.
well, I mean, to be fair, like half of that's gonna get cut out because we were talking about nothing. But
That's
go on.
true. But like, it's interesting how often Star Wars seems unprepared for people to love characters who they are not, who are like, there are characters shoved in front of them, and people glom onto the people who are not shoved in front of them. Like Kira, Ray Sloan, frankly, the entire cast of Rebels.
Yes.
Like-
Oh,
Say again. Sorry.
I said Zuvio. Sorry. Sorry.
Yes.
I
the
shouldn't drag Heath like that on the podcast.
Oh, he's gonna be a dad, guys. That's weird.
But you
Sorry.
have
That was
all
weirder
these.
than I thought.
Wow, I
Yep.
hated that. Moving right along.
But you
Or-
have all these incredible. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to throw in like the entire cast of Resistance for Christ's sakes.
Oh, fucking tell me about it. I mean, but you have like all these things that they're putting in front of us, and people love them so much, and they're just always unprepared for their success. And I would absolutely say that's the case with Rebels. It is
Resistance.
it well, both. It was I would say it was the case with Rebels until the final season.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because there was never any like merch and never any tie-ins.
And when there was merch, Kanan was white.
Yeah. But then Resistance, nobody even knows Resistance exists, and that's after we've had a Star Wars Celebration where it was presented. Like, it's
Insanity.
it's
Stressing bonkers.
and it's one of the things that is frustrating about this, massive multimedia universe that we keep talking about, like, because we talk a lot about all the opportunities that there are for highlighting different characters and different media and combining them all. But if you're not prepared to support the characters you're creating, then it creates the vacuum of people want these characters and they don't exist, or more about them doesn't exist. And that, I think, is something that so far we've seen Kira fall into. Who knows? Like, there's, looking at the timeline, they could have looked at Solo and been like, hey, Kira's a great character. Let's start developing more content for her. And we wouldn't know it by now. That's entirely possible. But as of what we know right now, it feels like Kira has fallen into that trap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
On a happier note, I just want to really quickly talk about how Ray Carson is clearly a giant fucking Star Wars fan, and I'm so here for it. We're going to get into Easter eggs later on, but like Han's entire person in this book is just one giant Easter egg, and I love it so very much.
That is a fucking mood.
Yeah. If it's
Yeah.
to the point where like I can recognize Easter eggs like for days, like
But
Miranda,
like
you
not in a
remember
cheesy way
certain
either.
things about
Which
Star
like
Wars.
no, I think it all worked like very well in the context of the story and of the dialogue, but it was just amazing like how many there were.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if you were a person in the general age range for the YA category of book, and you were reading this and you had never seen the original trilogy, you would have completely missed them. But for people like us who are monsters, like it was just like hit after hit, and I was just like, yes.
Yeah, it's always really fun, and credit to both Del Rey and Disney Hyperion, because it feels like almost every author who writes Star Wars these days has this, but it's just really fun when their enthusiasm just really oozes off the page like that, because like they're like in the case of this book, like Ray Carson like slipped in all these references, but like in ways that made sense and not in the like kind of stereotypical sci-fi tie-in, and then they weren't the droids they're looking for, wink wink, like
Right.
but like with things that actually made sense in like context, and it like you could like it's palpable how much fun Ray Carson had writing this book, and it's just a lot, and that makes it so much fun to read.
Exactly. Like I love knowing that all these authors are such giant fans and giant nerds, and we're also like we're getting authors who are we're mixing in authors now who are younger than George Lucas, whose like own original writing has been influenced by Star Wars, and so just
Unlike us,
having
we're all older than George Lucas.
right. But folks like Tim Zahn are probably like of a generation probably with George Lucas more or less, but folks like Ray Carson or DJO or even Claudia Gray, like they all they're just like us, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
All right. So Miranda, you started talking about this a little bit, but I did want to talk about, for all of us, like how does Most Wanted change how you view Solo?
It makes me like it a little more.
Yeah.
Like I did not like it. I thought Solo was like a decent movie. I think we touched on it last pod. It's not one that I've seen since it came out. But like it was
Yes.
fun and served its purpose, but now that I've finished this, I'm like, well shit, maybe I should go watch Solo again with like a deeper understanding of kind of where a lot of the characters, and by a lot I mean all two of the characters are coming from. I want to go back and like get that Kira content, and I want to go back and see like what drives a young Han and see how that manifests itself in him.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I appreciate that I think I talked about this a lot in the first episode, but this book made Kira into more of a person than, which is not a knock on Emilia Clarke or her performance or anything. That's like purely criticism of the script, because I can tell like she pulled everything out of that script that she humanly could. So I liked seeing that, definitely seeing that extrapolated onto the page for the younger version of her.
Yeah, I think just off topic, but going off what you just said, Kate, like Emilia, like whatever you think of Solo, Emilia Clarke's performance is Carrie Fisher levels of taking things that are not in the script and putting them in there and making yourself a character.
Absolutely. Because she was supposed to be, like I just said it, John Kasdan wanted this woman to be a cardboard cutout, so cheers to that.
Give Emilia Clarke a script that's worthy of her,
I
for the
know.
love of God.
I know.
She's great at acting.
She really is.
I just took my tiny mall bobblehead off of my toy shelf because it just makes me love Solo even more, because I already loved Solo and I already loved Kira because I fucking love Maul. And that's a whole ass thing. So great. Now I'm just playing with my ball bobblehead. He's very tiny. He's got
fine,
two
Chris is-
legs, which is not how his life works anymore. But
It's fine. Chris is squeezing his potato like a good person.
good boy.
For me, it didn't change how I view Solo as much. It did a little bit because it, it does give you that added context. But for me, it was a testament to how much the good aspects of Solo really hit, and specifically the acting and the characters. Because there was no part of this book where I imagined Han and Kira as anybody but Alden Ehrenreich and Emilia Clarke. And like thinking back to Thrawn Alliances, which is like one of my favorite canon books, and I love it. But like, and I think Kristen, you and I talked about this on the pod when we read it. We like hear different versions of Anakin when we read that book. I very much hear Matt Lanter, and you heard, if I remember correctly, Hayden Christensen.
I do.
And
because I would like Hayden Christensen to have a better time.
Yeah.
and
Dude, what a
better
mood.
script, and that book lent itself to that.
Yeah. And it's a testament to particularly Alden, I think, but because Emilia Clarke, it's a testament to her acting for entirely different reasons.
Right, but
I think it's-
Alden as Han, underrated in my opinion.
Oh, agreed. Like
So
it's
good.
like, how easy would it have been to just read this as like a younger Harrison Ford? And like Alden was honestly, that was basically a no-win scenario of trying to play young Han Solo.
Absolutely.
And he did again, whatever you think of the movie, he did a really good job. Kate, I want to hear your answer to this question because I know you love Solo as a movie.
Okay. I answered it already, but
Well, you answered. I think Kate answered it earlier, like in a way that made sense.
Okay.
wait, what are you asking me about specifically though?
Like how does it make you view the movie? Does it change how you view the movie? Because I think you talked a little bit about it, like when you were like introducing the question,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know, does it make you like the movie more, or does it like?
I think I agree with you that I think I appreciate the performances more. I think I mean, more than anything, the fact that they could perform at such a level when the production on the movie was such a goddamn clusterfuck.
Trash fire, TM.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I don't know if I've got really anything beyond that personally, but
Thanks, Mom. That was a good question.
Does that make you want to hashtag make Solo 2 happen?
okay. So, Chris, can you remind me who it was that started this hashtag? It was one of the podcasts, I think.
Was it?
One of the other Star Wars podcasts. Yes?
Oh, then I don't know the answer.
Damn it, I forgot who it was. My bad. Anyway, a few weeks ago, some folks started a hashtag that's literally just make Solo 2 happen, because it was the 1-year anniversary of the movie being released, and, it was not actually a failure by any stretch of the imagination, because it still, raked in an incredible amount of money, because Star Wars, but people were all like, this movie didn't do as well, and it wasn't that good, and the production was a fucking hot mess, which is true, but I mean, whatever. So it's highly unlikely that we're going to get a direct sequel to Solo, and also for me personally, I don't think I want a direct sequel to this particular story. Like, for me, what I've been saying is that, you know, Lucasfilm at one point was kicking around a quote-unquote, you know, criminal underworld sort of movie that would feature Boba Fett, and that was going to be the Boba Fett movie. And I would actually, like, I don't need a Boba Fett movie, but I would actually like to see something like that, but involving, you know, some sort of gang warfare between all the criminal syndicates, and have Crimson Dawn be heavily involved in that, and Maul and and Kira and all those like upper level folks. I think that would be really, really fun. And like, so do y'all need a direct sequel to Solo? What would you kind of rather have instead of not have at it?
Yeah, I don't need a direct sequel to Solo. Like, we know plenty about Han. He's a great character, but that's not the point of like having this entire expanded universe. What I do want to see, especially now that we've made it through Most Wanted, is more Kira. And so we were touching on this a little bit earlier, but I'd love to see something about like Kira rising through the ranks of Crimson Dawn. And like that could very well go into the kind of criminal underworld thing that you were just talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the Solo 2 that we deserve.
I would also absolutely take a Lando movie about him first meeting Sana and then just turning that into like some kind of like crazy heist on the run from the Galactic Police. Like,
Yeah.
Sounds lit.
Also into
that would be so fun.
I want anything with Maul in it because he's one of the most compelling, most interesting characters with a super fucking interesting backstory that no one knows. Great.
Maul is the best. Change Tristan's mind.
Right?
Listen.
I don't want a direct sequel to Solo, and this is like, I feel like I've complained about this on the pod. I know I've complained about it off the pod. Like, not everything needs to be a prequel or a sequel. Like, not like there are stories that you can tell, and they can even involve some of the same characters without it being a prequel or a sequel. Like, it doesn't need to be Solo 2. It can be the story of Kira. It can be the story of Lando. It can be the story of Chewie. Like, it can be so many other things.
Or even something in the style of Twilight Company where, like, you know, Han pops up, but he's never actually, like, named in it. Like,
Exactly.
That would be cool.
Exactly. Like you think about, like, two of the more well-regarded stories that have come out of the new canon in Rogue One and Last Jedi, and not, like, I would not consider Rogue One it's, you know, technically a prequel, but I would not consider it a prequel to A New Hope. It's a completely standalone story that they felt needed to be told in and of itself being a story. The Last Jedi is, I think it's fair to say, not the story that anybody thought we would get from The Last Jedi, and not the story anybody thought they wanted, but it was incredible, and
Speaking
it
of
like
the story
took
we
Star Wars in new
deserved,
directions. Yeah,
The
exactly.
Last Jedi.
Exactly. So, like, I hate, like, people, like, the normals on the internet need to stop assuming that creatives have imaginations that are as small as their own.
Oh, sick burn. Jeez.
I'm sorry. It's, like, these people get paid to create content for a reason, and that's because they are more creative than I am, for example. Like, I don't presume that I can come up with a concept for a Solo sequel that is going to be great.
Chris, did you just literally poke the leg of this chair and creak it?
Yes.
Some people get paid to be creatives because they're uncles, though.
I mean, okay, that's true. Some people... That argument falls apart really quick if you examine it, so let's just not look at it and move on.
Also, Anfusness.
Yes.
I want that in the
Ephes
Solo
is
2.
gay
She is.
and awesome.
Fusness.
Changed my fucking mind.
We stand.
And Fuse
Mm-hmm.
Nest.
Okay,
Do we have
wow.
social media questions, Mom?
Yeah, we sure do. Okay, or rather, we have a... we have... They're questions. All right. So both of... What? I don't know.
Does it end in a question mark? Question mark?
Yes.
They're more
Yes,
of
it does.
social media comments than questions.
Okay, but Jess's question ends in a question mark, but is also just dragging us.
You deserve it.
All right, so both of these
TBH.
are from at Space Jess with 4 S's on Twitter, a friend of the pod, co-host of Lousy Beautiful Town, wonderful human being.
Co-host of our hearts.
Yes, that is correct. Best roomie ever at
Co-host of the nap room, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say one of the best roomies ever at Star Wars Celebration Chicago. So she wanted to point out. So our last episode, we were talking a little bit about Maul, and very briefly mentioned we were interested to know and weren't sure how he would react to Kira as a woman who knows her own mind and who is going to be quite in control of his many metaphorical spider legs of crime.
I was gonna say his many-legged organization.
Yes. And just wanted to point out, so she says Maul was raised on Dathomir, which is very much a matriarchy with the Night Sisters, so I feel like he might be better with powerful women than most characters we encounter in Star Wars. Or maybe it's made him resent them, who knows. Personally, I feel like it's probably more the second one, but...
Listen, it's fucking complicated. That's why Maul is such a good, interesting character. I mean, what?
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, do we know when Maul was taken from Dathomir?
I don't think so.
I'm under the impression he was like an infant.
Yeah, I've always been under the impression that he was young because he didn't even know he had brothers.
Wait,
Yeah,
when
that's
was
right.
Who took him?
Sidious.
Oh shit!
I know when he took my heart.
Wow.
but we do know like that he obviously got back to Dathomir and like had probably as close a relationship with Mother Talzin as with anyone in his life, and was also, looking back at Son of Dathomir, which was the Dark Horse comic that came out, I want to say right before the Great Uncanoning, and so still matters. Like he is like extremely broken up when Mother Talzin dies. So
that's interesting to me because I seem to remember. So when we first get to Dathomir in the Clone Wars, and I think it's Anakin and Obi-Wan are visiting the village where the Night Brothers live because they're trying to investigate where the fuck Savage Opress came from. I think the attitude is just like, oh god, the Night Sisters are here again. What the fuck do they want? So I don't know. Like, but then again, of course, he didn't. If he was taken as an infant, he didn't grow up with that. So I don't fucking know. It's an interesting question.
yeah, I mean, I
need
wish
to
we knew
rewatch
more.
The Clone Wars. What?
That's a
we
really
all?
good arc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
twist your arm.
It's a fucking great arc.
So yeah, no, I think it's an open question. It's an interesting one. I would like. Well, certainly Kristen would like to know more about Spider Maul.
Some of us.
Kristen hates small.
Some of us just. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh my god. All right, so the second thing Jess sent in, she says, "Hi, please discuss how much Kira has changed from Most Wanted to Solo." I think we talked about this on this last episode quite a bit, but I mean, I feel like her core like skills are all definitely there, but she's also a lot more jaded and she's a lot more sure about what she wants. And as soon like after Han leaves her, she's like, well, every woman for herself. Guess I better get to doing murder so I don't get murdered over here.
Happier with her mouth more open.
Great.
Yeah, I like think that she fundamentally doesn't really change that much. Like you said, she gets a little more jaded. I think she gets a little more life experience, and I think we might have touched on this a little bit talking about Han in the first episode, about his progression as a character from like what we see here versus the original trilogy, where he sees some more shit, he gets some experience, and like it just makes him a lot more cynical. And I think that's kind of what happens to Kira. Like I think a lot of her same traits are there. Like she's just kind of living the life that she saw for herself. She's doing the things she was doing before. It's just now, instead of being, on kind of an underdog gang, she's like with this major syndicate.
Yeah, she's different, but she's not. Like to me, she's fundamentally the same person, but like some of the rose-colored glasses, as much as could be possible when living in a sewer, have been like chipped away. Like, because she is still self-interested and she is still calculating, but what she's lost is the desire to like help anybody but herself, frankly. Like if it doesn't benefit her. And that's not a negative, it's just who she is.
It's her reality.
Yeah. And like and I do think I agree with you, Marina. I think it's a lot of it's just because she's seen some shit. Like she's experienced more. One rarely comes away from being branded thinking that it was a positive experience. Like she's gone through a lot. And so like I think it's the biggest change is that she has decided that she cannot afford to look out for anybody who is not herself.
What do y'all, having read Most Wanted, what do y'all make of her in the movie telling Han kind of repeatedly, you have no idea what I've done, I'm not a good person? Like, is that kind of an admission of guilt, like Black Widow with the red in her ledger, or is that her just kind of stating a fact, or do you think she just doesn't let herself think about it even?
Yes.
Yeah, all the above. Is that an option?
Okay.
I mean, I think she's complex enough to be like, hey, no one wants to think about this, but also I'm not sorry, but also no one wants to know this about me.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly the situation. And I think that is only really complicated by the fact that like she hasn't seen Han in a couple years. And so we don't really have anything with like between the end of Most Wanted and them at the beginning of Solo. But I assume a lot. So, I mean, we don't know like if she did anything shitty in that period. But it's pretty safe to assume based on her like trajectory that it all kind of happened after that. And like she hasn't seen Han since before that started.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, I was like an okay person then, but this is who I am now, and it's not great.
See, and I'm also of the thought of like, just because she's like, you don't know what I've done, what I've been through, doesn't mean it's like bad. It just means it's like fucked up. Because there can be things that she's had to do that like were, okay, now I can say it, that were morally gray. That like weren't good, nor were they bad, but like that she's like, yeah, that was fucking traumatizing. You don't know what I've done. That's another way to kind of think of it, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, especially because I always got like creepy, predatory vibes from Boss's character, and it's like, I don't know what your job was when you were lower on the ladder, but you're an attractive woman who is young, and money is money, and yikes.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe she had to go to Force Planets to get all new legs, but some of us are one-track minded.
Oh my god. All right.
All right. That also would have been fucked up and hard, right? What?
So anyway, Easter eggs. I've got like a few,
We have
but
a
most
very
of
long Han list.
I mean, I categorize this Han's entire existence because literally everything that comes out of his mouth is an Easter egg. I think one of the things that I want to highlight is Kira asks him about his family, and he tells this like ridiculous story about his dad was a prince who like randomly got married to like whatever the fuck, and I think that's probably a callback to Han's backstory, at least in the Legends universe, where he's actually like long lost royalty from the House of Solo of Corellia and whatever the fuck else, and it was ridiculous. But I enjoyed that she kind of like.
Is that a Legends thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know that.
Thanks, Mom.
Which is so
can
that
you
was
just
weird.
go down this list?
Wait, can I? Is she gonna
Sure.
go
Yeah.
through all of them?
You can go.
'Cause
You can go through them.
I had a favorite one.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's.
Oh
do
my God.
Let's do one. I'm just saying we're at some minutes. Let's each do one favorite and then have someone go through all of them.
Okay.
I mean, I
Okay.
think I talked about mine in a previous episode, but it's are you sure that's how the Force works? From Han?
Bitch.
That's what Miranda's was as well.
I was gonna be.
Kristen.
Mine was a Kira one.
Okay.
Okay.
So if Chris takes the "You sure that's how the Force works" one, which you definitely did not speak about on a previous episode, I'm gonna
Damn.
go with Han calling the Force a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
I love that.
Another
That's a great one.
The Force Awakens Easter egg.
Mine was someone help me with this giant hairy thing from Kira.
Yes, that was
I think
amazing.
did I put both of these Kira ones on here?
Yeah. What? Who else would have written in all caps about Spider-Mall on the goddamn outline?
Okay, I know that one was me, but the other one.
Yes, I think it was you.
Because she literally said someone help me with this giant hairy thing, which
I loved it.
That's a fin.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
I
very,
think
very
I picked
good.
a good one.
Yeah.
Kate.
Oh, it's probably when they call his speeder a piece of junk. It's just like, why are you always driving a piece of junk?
So true.
Oh, or this one isn't even on the list, but he's looking around the shitty, I think it's the shitty Caldana ship, and he's like, oh, when I get my own ship, I'm gonna treat it better than this. And I was just like, ha ha.
That is a lie.
Bitch,
That's
you
a
won't.
Big
Nope.
bitch lie.
Nope. I also wanted to point out that at one point they're eating eel skewers in Kira's hideout, which made me laugh because back when at some point when we were discussing Solo, we were talking about the deleted scenes, and one of them that was, I think, quite clearly a Lord Miller bit that got edited out was Han basically having him and Kira hiding in a barrel full of eels as they try to escape from Corellia, and there's just. And he's just like, oh, Kira, did you just test my leg? And it was like literally an eel trying to eat his dick. So.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Sure.
Bad
that's
scene.
Fine.
I'm really
Yeah.
glad that got cut.
It was bad.
Cool.
All right,
cool,
that's all I
cool,
got.
Cool.
Okay, so then do we want to go through the list?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris, you go through the list.
Chris,
Oh,
tell
okay.
us the ones that we didn't say and speak into the microphone.
Hang on, I'm adjusting my microphone so I can actually see the screen.
Jesus Lord.
So on the Han side, I never ask myself that question until I've actually done it. Classic Han.
What? No, that's the thing he stole from Sulo.
Oh, does Sulo say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now. The fake story about Han's family that's the prince thing. Okay, I didn't actually realize that was an Easter. I guess I read it. Han having a bad feeling about this. Classic Han and his feelings. The whole part where Han doesn't like to know the odds. Telling Tool that he looks great, which, as of course, you look great to Chewie for being 180 years old. He also enjoys being a scoundrel.
Yeah, so somebody calls him that, and he's like, he like pretends to be offended, but actually he's just like, hey, I'm really cool now.
Who are you called Scruffy?
Han's so soft.
I know.
And then Kira. Oh, this is another really good one that I'm surprised nobody already said out loud. But
This is my second favorite.
Kira's walk casual line.
I love that. So I literally like to put the book down. I was like, Chris, I'm gonna throw this book across the room, except I won't because I love it.
So good.
Good.
Also, do we think the shield generators for the Death Star or TIE tech or?
I assumed it was for the Death Star.
I don't think it was though, because the whole point of it was that it could work on small ships.
Like so,
You
like a
think
TIE
maybe-
Defender?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I wonder. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Someone asked Thrawn.
Great, I'll just call him up. It'll be fine.
Great, do it. He's blue.
Great.
They have phones in Thrawn's land.
Blue people have
It's
phones. It is known.
It's canon. Anyway, all right, let's end it there. Thank you all for listening to episode 93
Oh, hi, Pork Chop.
of
hi, Porky.
the Book Wars pod. Pork Chop is here, blessing us with his presence.
He's hydrating. Drink water, everybody.
Yeah, right. No kidding, bud. No kidding. Thank you for putting up with this even more disastrous than usual episode as we podcast from a disaster area and Kristen channels her rage. But next episode we're going to be a few weeks. Next episode's going to be a few weeks from now. Kate and I are moving, so we're going to be off the air for a few weeks. We are going to try and record some bonus content before we leave on Vader Immortal, and then Kristen and Miranda might do something while we're out as well.
And then
so
Chris
you
will
won't be
record a
starved for
whole
content.
podcast where he isn't talking to the mic, but I'll put that out
I'm literally talking into the mic right now.
right now.
The entirety of this whole bit, I've been talking. I have not moved.
Oh boy.
right
Pork
now.
chop.
Oh my god. Anyway, next episode, when we get back to our regularly scheduled programming, we're going to be diving into Dooku Jedi Lost, the audio original by Kevin Scott. We're going to be going through the first half of that story, start of it through chapter 13. And then in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at BookWarsPod, bookwarspod@gmail.com if you want to email us, and rate, review, and subscribe to us and the Tashi Station Radio Mega Feed. It is the best way for others to discover this trash fire, and you all want that. You know you do. Search your feelings.
I mean, if you have to suffer, then why shouldn't your friends suffer?
Exactly.
You know it
That's
to be
what
true.
I always say. In the meantime, if you are so inclined and have the means, please donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon or give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. It really does help us with our hosting and production costs, and has been directly responsible for our improved audio quality in the last few episodes. So please do give to us there. Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joby Terra Design. For Kate, Kristen, and Miranda, I'm Chris. Thank you so much for listening to the Book Wars pod, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, pork chop.
No, it wasn't that shirt, Chris. I don't know what that shirt was.
Well, I'm
How many shirts have you asked me about?
Oh my god.
We have learned from this podcast that some of us have better memories than others of us.
We already knew that, hon.
So we don't appreciate being attacked like this.
Oh my god.
We, the royal we.